Hello, my dear students. Today, under Labor Law Satin paper, we'll discuss the Employees Compensation Act 1923, which is given in your unit 4th in your syllabus. And in today's deliberation, we'll discuss about the defenses available to the employer and the amount of compensation. What should be the amount of compensation? That we will discuss in this video lecture 33. This is Dr. A.K. Tyagi. So let's start with the defenses available to the employer. So what defenses an employer can make, or what defenses an employer can take? And an employer is not liable to pay compensation for personal injury caused to an employee by accident arising out and in the course of employment if the injury does not result in the total or partial disablement of employee for a period exceeding 3 days. So if the injury does not result in total or partial disablement of the employee for a period exceeding 3 days, then employer will not be liable to pay the compensation. And if the injury resulting you know, uh, uh, if the injury does not result in total or the partial disablement of the employee for a period exceeding 3 days, then he will not be liable to pay. And if the injury not resulting in death or permanent total disablement is caused by an accident which is directly attributable to. So if the injury not resulting in death, not resulting in permanent total disablement, and is caused by an accident which is directly attributable to subclause first says that the employee having been at the time of accident under the influence of drink. So if the employee was under the influence of drink, under the influence of drug, right? And that injury is not resulting into death or permanent total disablement. And subclause second states that the willful disobedience of the employee of an expressly given or to a rule expressly framed for the purpose of the safety of the employees, right? So if and this injury is also not resulting into death or permanent total disablement, and this was the willful disobedience by the employee, right? And which was very necessary for the purpose of securing the safety of the employee. So in that case also, employer will not be liable to pay the compensation. And last but not least is the clause third states that if the injury which is not resulting into death or permanent total disablement, right, and is caused by an accident which is directly attributable to the willful removal or disregard by the employee of any safety guard or other device, right? And of course, under the Factories Act, if we refer to the Factories Act 1948, this is an offense under the Act, right? So, and for which he knew to have been provided for the purpose of securing the safety of the employees, but the employee has removed that. Then again, in this case also, employer may take this defense, right? So, because we can also state here, like if these defenses are not available to the employer, then employee may be means every time will induce to cause to himself an injury by his own acts or means negligence, and then will claim compensation from the employer. So in these cases where the injury does not result in a total or permanent total disablement is caused by an accident, means injury does not result in total or partial disablement. Partial disablement of the employees for a period exceeding 3 days, and the injury is not resulting into death or permanent total disablement and is caused by an accident which is directly attributable to means the employee was influenced by the drink or drug, or it was the employee's willful disobedience, or it was the willful removal or disregard by the employee of any safety guard, then in those cases, employer will not be liable to pay the compensation. Right? And of course, one more thing I would like to state here, that in case of death of the employee, the exceptions, as we have discussed, that intoxication by drink or drug, or willful disobedience of any central rule or order, or willful removal of any safety devices are not applicable in case of fatal accident. So where the employee dies, then these defenses will not be available. And the reason is that where an employee has died as a result of the personal injury, it would be very difficult for the dependents to rebut evidence that the accident was caused by the deceased misconduct. So this is the main reason. So then employer liability will be there to make pay the compensation. Now, my dear students, we refer the section 4. Section 4 of this act talks about the amount of compensation, and the amount of compensation payable to an employee, depends on the nature of the injury caused by the accident, or what were the monthly wages of the employee concerned, or what is the relevant factor for working out lump sum equivalent of compensation amount as it is specified in the Schedule 4 of the Act. And there is no distinction for an adult or a minor worker with respect to the amount of the compensation. And Section 4 of this Act provides for death, provides for compensation to death, to permanent total disablement, to permanent partial disablement, to temporary disablement. And this temporary disablement may be total or partial. And while determining the compensation under this Section 4, right, then this section has to be read with Schedule 4, because in this schedule, the relevant factors are given. So let's start with the compensation for death, that where death results from an injury, the amount of compensation shall be equal to the 50% monthly wages of the deceased workman and multiplied by the relevant factor. Right? For that, we will refer the age of the employee given, and it is given in the column 2 of the Schedule 4 for completed years of age and the last birthday, as it is mentioned there in Schedule 4. So 50% means 50 multiplied by monthly wages and multiplied by relevant factor as per the age, and will be divided by 100. Then you will get the death of the compensation in case of a death. If say for example, if the wage is 3,000, then and the age is 34, right? Then we'll check the relevant factor for 34, and that would be then 50 upon 100 into the wage is, say for example, 3,000, right? Multiplied by 3,000 multiplied by relevant factor, and you will get the result, means the compensation amount. In case of compensation for permanent total disablement, right, results from the injury, and amount equal to the 60% of the monthly wages of the injured employee multiplied by the relevant factor, right? So this formula we will follow for the compensation for permanent total disablement. So in first case also, the whatever calculation we receive, or 1,20,000 rupees, whichever is more, that would be paid in case of death. And for here, for this compensation for permanent total disablement, the calculation 60% of the monthly wages multiplied by relevant factors, or 1,40,000, whichever is more, would be payable in case of the permanent total disablement. You can refer the Bayer Act also if there are some more developments, then we can cross check that, right? And the compensation for permanent partial disablement is concerned, then in this case it would be paid 60% of the wages, right? And again, the formula would be 60%, and means the 60 multiplied by the wages multiplied by the relevant factors, right? And that is the compensation for the permanent partial disablement. And for compensation for the temporary disablement, it may be total or partial. Then where temporary disablement, whether total or partial, results from the injury, the amount of compensation shall be half monthly payment of the sum equivalent to 25% of monthly wages of the employees. Right? So in that way, we can calculate the compensation for, in case of death, compensation for permanent total disablement, compensation for permanent partial disablement, and compensation for temporary disablement, total or partial. And compensation to be paid when due, it is given under section 4A of this act, that compensation payable to an employee under section 4 shall be paid as soon as it falls due and when the liability of payment of compensation is fixed on the employer. In case where the employer does not accept the liability of compensation to the extent claimed, he shall make provisional payments based on the extent of liability which he accepts, and such payment shall be deposited with the commissioner for employee compensation or made to the employee, as whatever the case is, right? And this, and if the employer is not making that payment on time, then there is a penalty for the default, right? And an employer shall pay the compensation due under this act within 1 month from the date of its fall due. And if it defaults, then commissioner shall direct him to pay the amount of the arrears, right? With the simple interest at the rate of 12% per annum, or at a higher rate, not exceeding, of course, maximum lending rates of any scheduled bank as specified in the central government by notification in the official gazette. So, compensation to be paid when due under section 4A, right? So this is all about for today's deliberation, my dear students. Today we have gone through the defenses available to the employer and the amount of compensation. How do we calculate under section 4 in case of death, in case of total disablement, partial disablements, right? Thank you so much. I believe this deliberation will help you. Thank you so much. Go through these slides, PPTs, and refer the BEAR Act also. Have a nice time. Have a safe stay.